Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Wednesday, January 18th, 2022. As myself and my co host, Scott E. Webb, try to get you closer to the window with as much analysis, thoughts going on in today's market, where we have covered it from the overnights last night to the breakfast bankroll, which we did not have this morning, but we did cover some of those numbers in the midday market report with our friend Andrew McGinnis, to now where we are at the closing bell. First and foremost, anyone watching and listening, please, please, please jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors and subscribe. It's free, and would love to have you there. Turn on the notifications while you're there, and do the same on Twitch if you can. We're looking to build up a nice, strong following when we go live here, and we don't want you to miss a show. Secondly, shout out to Mr. Lucky at Follow Fade. Might have to trademark this, and I just was talking to Scott behind the screens here, where he came up with the odds couple for me and Scott. So thank you. And 2 follows in the last week that I'm damn proud of. Last week, Roger Clemens began following myself at East Coast Sports Investors. And today, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. Today is his 5-year anniversary from getting into the Hall of Fame, and he followed us starting today. So 2 shout outs there. Damn proud to have them both following us. And I am obviously following both of them, as I am a diehard baseball fan. But without further ado, let's bring in Scott from Tampa. Want to go over something quickly, and then we're going to get right to the market. Scotty, my brother, what is happening?
Good afternoon, Jeff. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think I'm fighting something. A little down and tired today, and every time you bring up you're not feeling that well, everyone's like, whoa, you got COVID. I don't have COVID. I'm double vaxxed. I'm boosted. And yes, I know you can still get it. I'm fine. I'm just a little tired today. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I think the weather broke for us today, so I'm pretty happy. The dog walk this afternoon was 74 degrees, and I had long sleeves on, and shit, I had to go take them off.
It's funny because my last walk of the night and the first one in the morning, it's one of those, come on. Now, I have a 13-year-old puggle, okay, that's not moving that good. And it's slow, and slower. And with some strong gusts, when she goes to go to the bathroom, the wind will blow her right over. And but it's been brutally cold. So, and of course, the queen can't get her feet wet. So if it's raining, she goes to the bush and runs back. But before we get to the market today, hats off yesterday. I really enjoyed the fact that you did some, it was a short NBA board, but what we were able to do is to talk through the college board. While you're over at pregame, I'm shooting some numbers to you. And anyone that was here last night and hung on till the end of the show caught the jackpot. I talked about a Missouri team who is butt ugly, traveling to Mississippi, and the line opened at 9.5, and it dropped 2 points to 7.5. Yet it was like a 70-70 split, all on Mississippi. Huge reverse line movement, and Missouri not only wins, they win by 25. And my clients even sprinkled a little beer and pizza money on the plus 300 on the money line. How about that, Mr. Scott?
Well, those are the days when you sit there and go, holy cow. It's I kind of liken this to some of the stuff that if you're gambling on these games and you're playing and you're having a good time, great for you and all that stuff, but that's not what I get at. I mean, that's the purpose why we do some of this stuff. And ideally, you want to make money at the same time. I mean, shit, this is investing, so you want to invest your money where it works and get your good return. So But on days like that, I think that some of that thought process in your head needs to be, I just got a plus 300 and I just hit this and I just hit that and I just want all this money. Well, keep the majority of that money in your bankroll because that's what you need to have. You need to have that money in your bankroll, but you need to have a celebratory something. I don't care if it's a drink or if it's to go out and do this or to go do that, or you're going to go buy, buy a new hat, whatever the hell it is that makes you happy, go do it because I have stuff around the house. I have stuff that my wife wears. I have stuff that is all over the place that I go, my gambling money bought that. This game bought that. My wife's happy because of that game. And you can relive that every day of your life. And then you don't ever miss out on what you just accomplished. And that's how you hammer that home. I'm not telling you to take everything that you won. And it depends on how much you bet or whatever the situation is. But even if you bet $50 and you got a plus 300, holy shit, you're sitting there going, well, maybe I'll just take $75 and I'll just go do this and I'll put the other $75 in the bank and keep it there. And then I'm going to go have a good dinner, or I'm going to go buy a new shirt, or I'm going to go, I'm going to go, I don't know, get a jersey or whatever the hell it is you do or you want to do. That's how I like to do those days because you hammer that shit home. My wife has a ring on her finger that I got from gambling. So, I mean, that's all the kind of shit that makes this sit here and makes it important that then you can relive it every single day of your life.
It's funny you say that. 2017, when I won 2 national fantasy football titles. On the website, there's myself, and I had 2 investors with me. I'm holding a check for $195,000, and the 2 investors each put in about $1,000, and they netted 60,000. What an investment that was! So I netted around 60. I came home, had the check, paid off all the bills that we needed to pay, put some away in the nest, and I bought the car that I'm driving right now, which is a 2014 Honda Pilot. And I bought that in 17/18. So every day I get in that car, I look, you're exactly right. I'm like, man, that was a great year in 17. How are we going to duplicate that now? But a lot of my friends back in the day at the dog tracks, when they had a big score, they would make a big purchase, whether it's land, whether it's a car, whether it's something, because they know in their mind they're going to piss it away. So if they bought a car, they bought some land and the going got tough, well, then they would just flip that, or they had something for collateral on those rainy days.
Yeah, I just think it's important to have context to what you do. So the only way that I know to have context in what you do is to have something tangible, because what we're doing is, let's face it, most people are clicking buttons on their phone or clicking buttons on a computer, and it's all numbers that you see until you actually take money and go do something with it. And part of what we're doing here is having fun, and to be honest, if you're not having fun in a way that is celebratory ways, I don't know what to tell you. You can't hoard your money the whole time, so you got to do something with it. And if you do something with it and that's kind of enjoyable or fun, or you get a memento out of it, or have a memory from it, or maybe you do this and you go to one of your local casinos and you go buy a t-shirt or whatever, and then that's a shirt you wear all the time, and you go, holy shit, I remember that day now, because all of that matters.
When I'm on my 1, 2, 3 week business trips in Vegas, I did say business, by the way, I always enjoy hitting the cigar bar, whether it's at South Point or Fremont, go right down there, get a nice cigar, just take in the sights, a nice steak, and you do need to reward yourself. So hats off to anyone that caught that one. We're going to see if we can find something like that for you tonight. Again, you can't find those every night. when we are playing a dog, I will always suggest a little pizza and beer money. So if we were using one unit as your normal play, say like last night you had Missouri +8 for one unit and $1. When I say pizza and beer money, for some people it's 10, it's 20, some people it's $25. Again, that's the whole nature of it. I don't want you to win a unit and then put 50 or 75 on the money line, because you're kind of defeating the purpose. And especially on a 3-1, even if you're a dollar player and you had $25 on it, well, you hit the unit for 100 on the +8, and then if you had $25 on it, you got back 3-1, and so that's how it works, and that's the nature of the beast. So full slate tonight. We won't bore you anymore, but what we like to do here on the closing bell is to get you prepped up, get you lathered up, get you loosened up. It gives us a few more seconds to get some more people on here so we can go through the board. In the NBA today, a full slate. I'm going to just blast through what my eyes see, and then I'm going to flip the NBA board over, obviously, to Scott. Rotation number 501, 502, Brooklyn at Washington. Opened up at a pick. Washington now -1. Obviously, Kevin Durant out for some time now. Kyrie should be playing. 56% of the bets, 51% of the money coming in on Brooklyn. Yet Washington went from a pick to 1. Some line movement, Charlotte and Boston. Celtics opened up -4.5, now currently 3.5. 55% of the bets, 58% of the money coming in on Charlotte. So the tickets, money, and line is moving in the right direction. Minnesota and Atlanta, 50% of the bets, 56% of the money on Atlanta. They opened at 2, now 1.5. So there is a little reverse line movement on Minnesota tonight. They're pounding Cleveland. 63% of the bets, 55% of the money. A bet on Cleveland at Chicago. Opened at 2, now 3. Oklahoma City at San Antonio. San Antonio opened up 6.5, now -7.5 at Circa. Flat sevens all across the Vegas Strip. 60% of the bets, 77% of the money on OKC, yet the line is heading north. So some reverse line movement on San Antonio. I don't have the numbers in front of me on Detroit and Sacramento. Detroit has just been a whooping tomato can right now. Line opened at 5.5, now 7.5 there. LA at Denver. Denver opened at 6.5, now 8.5, so a 2-point jump. 51% of the bets, 51% of the money on Denver on both tickets and money, and that has gone up 2 points. And Indiana at the Lakers. Lakers go from 4.5 to 5. 53% of the bets, 78% of the money there. Scott, the board is yours.
Well, it's interesting. I'm on pregame here while you're doing it on the other side. So it's interesting. That Minnesota-Atlanta game, you said there was reverse line movement on Minnesota?
Well, I'm showing 50-50 on tickets, 56% of the money on Atlanta, yet it went from 2 to 1.5. So there would be reverse line movement on Minnesota.
So I'm showing on pregame 59% of the money, 62% of the tickets on Minnesota, and the line went to -2. So that would make sense. So it's just interesting what you see when you look at different places and what avenues they come. And I just preface this again, that I know pregame only has access to a handful of casinos, but I do like.
And Don Best is at 69% on Atlanta.
On Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting how and what they see and what books look at what and where they are. And that's why you want to have different options to look at, because if you just go by the gospel of one spreadsheet, the analysis that you're looking for, you might be steered wrong. Like if you're looking at just these handful of casinos and then you go look at Don Best, for example, and they got everybody there, and it says there's 69% of the money's on Atlanta. then you got to figure that out, because 59% of the money being here on this website is probably a small snippet of really what the true action looks like. So, but it's just interesting how some of that stuff plays out. But anyway, there's a couple of things here, right? So that Brooklyn Washington game, I think that Washington's been playing a little bit better. There's no Durant in this game, which you mentioned. But, Kyrie Irving, he led the team in scoring, and this is an away game, and they have Aldridge back. So this is not a game where I'm going to be interested in looking at the Washington side at what is it, -1 or whatever it is. So I don't think that's the right side. And I think Brooklyn we don't know who they are without Durant right this minute. So I'm going to pass on that one. I did like some of these other things. I didn't play this game, but I think it's a good spot here. And it's kind of they're bad teams. But you take Orlando today, and what is it, +12 now, +12.5 or something like that?
It's 12 on most of the Vegas Strip.
I think that you're getting a little bit of value here in this +12 because Philadelphia has just played some pretty good games against some pretty tough opponents. Orlando is not a great basketball team, but in the NBA, I know it's just another game and it's another situation, but you got to get up for some of those games, and this is a game they're definitely not going to get up for. And now you're asking them to cover 12. In Orlando's played halfway decent in recent history. And my numbers don't show a 12-point game. They show more like a 7, 8, 9-point game here. So I think there's value there. I didn't bet it just because I hate betting on bad teams. And I say that, and then I'm gonna tell you about a couple of things that I had on the dockets here. But I did play that Charlotte-Boston game. And I played on Charlotte plus 3.5. I think you could have got him at +4.5 this morning, which is when I actually had this thing. The AM look that I had was at +4.5. I played him at the +3.5 because this is what I'm taking to the window. I know I lost a point there, but that's okay. I have Charlotte winning the game. So if I have Charlotte winning the game and I can get 3.5 or 4.5, I'm happy with either one. So I'm good with that one. I took the Charlotte Hornets plus the 3.5. I do think the game stays under, what is it, 220, 219.5 now?
219.5.
I think the game will stay under that number. Boston's been playing really good defense. So I like that idea. And the other thing here too is that Charlotte has played in the last 5 games the 17th most difficult schedule, which is middle of the pack. But Boston has played the 23rd. So that means the validity of the numbers sort of stacks up a little bit better for what Charlotte's done because of the level of competition. Anyway, that being said, I'm on Charlotte today plus the 3.5. I skipped the Portland-Miami game. I think the number's pretty close to being right. And I think people are going to go crazy and bet Miami. Miami's not a team that likes to go out and cover big numbers, by the way. They like to cover small numbers, and we've done pretty well with them on the small numbers. Minnesota in that Minnesota and Atlanta game. I like Minnesota here. I didn't play the game because I think there's something goofy going on, so I just left it alone. But if I didn't kind of read into goofiness going on, I would have done this. Minnesota is Atlanta is one of the worst defensive teams in the last, little stretch here that they are. But they've played the 3rd most difficult schedule. So they've been playing really good teams and really getting smashed. Now, I'm not saying Minnesota's not a bad team. They're just not a really, really good team. So I'm going to leave that one on the paper. That Cleveland game, you said that the people are back in Cleveland. Lonzo Ball and no Levine for Chicago tonight. So that kind of gives Cleveland a little bit of an edge. Cleveland's 5-0 in their last 5 games, and they are 9-1 in their last 10 games. And Chicago's 0-4 in their last 4 games. So I don't like to back the public play. I don't like to back and I'm going to guess it's a public play. I'm just going to be out and say nope. I can see over here it's saying 84% of the money's on Cleveland on this website. So I'm going to say that's way too high for me, and I'm not going to support that play.
And they were the first team so far in the NBA. They've already clinched their under over for the season. I think it was at 24.5, and
they're doing great. I mean, they're unbelievably good. So then that brings us to probably one of the games of the night, which is Memphis and Milwaukee. I mean, I think that's going to be a fun game. There's two sides to this. I like Memphis plus the 6.5. I can't get off of that, but I'm playing it under. I think the number is like 229 now. And what does it say that the opening number was? Mine says 226 over here, but
I get 225.5 was the opener. Now it's at 229.5 at Circa and at South Point.
Well, at 8:00 this morning, when I loaded these numbers into my computer, it was 224. And now it's 229. So, and I have the game at 217. So I'm going to take this game under the number. Milwaukee's been playing really good defense. Memphis is playing good defense, but it's average defense. So I'm going to play this game under the number. Milwaukee has not been the best of teams as of late. I think they've lost 2 straight going into this game. So I think a lot of people are backing the idea that they're going to rebound here. And I'm going to just take the stance of instead of because Memphis is, I think, 9 out of 10 too. They're 9-1 or something like that. I think I'm just going to leave it to the under. So I played Charlotte plus 3.5. I played the under 229. And then I just wanted to hit you on a couple other games that I had in mind that if things kind of fall right, I might do. I like Dallas tonight against Toronto. Toronto's been playing a little bit better. But the reason I backed off of that game, and the reason I backed off the game is because Dallas's competition level over the last 5 games has been the 27th ranked schedule out of 32 teams. So that's not very good. And Toronto's played the top 10 schedule, so 10th. And that just tells me that they're playing better competition. That doesn't necessarily mean the matchups are good. It just means that when you're looking at the most current data, you have to factor in the idea that the level of quality of opponent does mean that if you go out and play the worst of the worst, your numbers are going to be good. If you play the best of the best, your numbers aren't going to be very good. So that skews that number for me enough that I backed off of it. And the last game that I took off the board that I was going to play, I was going to play the Houston Rockets today. God, believe it or not, I was going to do it. I had them in my spot. I was taking them to the window. It was plus 13.5 is what the number that I was going to play. I don't know what it is now. 13.5. I was going to play that game. My numbers show that that's going to be a lot closer game than that. So then I started thinking about 2 things. One, Utah's 1-5 in their last 6 games. So they're not playing very well. And then when I looked at who the level of competition and all that kind of stuff that they're going with, Utah's played the 6th best schedule, and Houston's played the 19th worst. So that's kind of middle of the pack, but lower middle of the pack. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Why are you going to support a team that can't do anything when, Houston is they don't have John Wall playing tonight. So, it's not a bad matchup for them with the 13.5 points. It's the fact that you're playing on a team and you're wagering on a team that can't play defense. And I just can't do that. Their defensive efficiency rating at home or on the road is 115 points out of 100 possessions. And Utah's offensive efficiency rating at home is 116.8. So that's pretty good. The problem is that Utah only plays average defense, and they haven't figured everything out right now. So I've got the game more in the neighborhood of 7-8 points. So that's kind of where I stand here is do you really want to take the 7-8 points or can Utah move past them? And I think they probably can. So I just left it off the board. And I hate Sacramento. I ain't betting on Sacramento. Or I ain't playing with them or against them. So anything that has to do with Sacramento, I'm leaving it on the table. I think they cover the 7.5 or whatever it is now. It's up to 7. I think they cover that number and they move past the Pistons. The Pistons can't shoot. The Pistons can't play defense. The Pistons can't do anything. So I'm good with Sacramento. I just don't want to. I don't want. Every time I bet on them, I lose. Either way, so I made two plays: Charlotte plus 3.5 and Milwaukee Memphis under 229. That's what I did.
All right.
Hey, Colton, how are you, brother?
The numbers are kind of skewed. I mean, Sacramento only opened up at 5.5. I mean, that's a red flag for me right away there. It smells there. Denver has gone up 2 points from 6.5 to 8.5. Clippers are just a shell of themselves. I mean, as you said, Utah has been playing horrific, yet they opened at 15. The NBA, again, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, guys. Take a look at the halftime score. Take a snapshot of the halftime score. Then take a snapshot at the end of 3 and at the end of the full game. I believe in the NBA phone calls. I really do. And I've seen some crazy stuff. So I always personally tread lightly. When I do see something, we do pounce. Scotty busts his butt to kind of just really dig into these numbers. And I like where your eyes are, Scotty. That's for sure. So.
Well, we hit last night with the team total on Minnesota going over the number, and of the 13 plays I've given out on the channel, we're 8 and 5. So there you go.
There you go. All right, I'm going to buzz through college. If you can get over to pregame in case I don't have any numbers here. The initial one's at 6:30. I can tell you this. This is the pros versus Joes, a Florida team that just is not playing well and not covering. Versus a Mississippi State team, again, record-wise looks okay. Usually plays better at opened at 4, jumped to 6. 58% of the bets, 66% of the money is on Mississippi State, yet the line has gone up 2. Now, I am not releasing this game. I obviously would lean Florida here with some reverse line movement. But again, there's some games that I don't see the necessity to get involved in. I was listening to our guys from Chicago show, Colton and Riley, and they started bringing up all these numbers that would smell like an under, yet this line opened at 138. So personally for me, I have on the desk Florida and over here, and I'm kind of excited to see where that one lands there. St. Joe's, George Washington money's tickets moving the right way. Same with Furman. Same with East Tennessee State. All right. We'll step to the window here. Rotation number 681, 682. St. John's at Creighton, 7 o'clock start, Big East. Creighton opened up at 5. 53% of the bets, 71% of the money all on Creighton, yet the line dropped to 3.5. So a 1.5 drop. Strong reverse line movement. Heavy, sharp money coming in on St. John's. I will just say this right now. When it looks too good, it usually is too good. Okay? So this is an automatic play right here for us. I am not playing this game, guys. It smells. It looks way too easy. I'm not saying this is the same Creighton team either of the last few years. I'm just saying this looks way too easy for the sharp guys right now. So we are passing on that one. Valpo, tickets and money on them, yet the line is stuck at 4.5. So we call that a line freeze. Would keep my eyes on Northern Iowa there. Okay. Just like I talked about Florida, I'm going to say it again here, LSU, Alabama. LSU, this line opened at 2.5, shot to 4. Now I'm showing 53% of the bets, 54% of the money on Alabama, and it went up 1.5. I can tell you this, guys. I've been tracking this all day. Okay. It's starting to leak towards Alabama. The numbers weren't like that. Scotty, what do you got on pregame on LSU, Alabama?
Well, what's interesting here is that this is the heaviest bet game of the night in college basketball. $135,000 so far being wagered on this game. Alabama showing 61% of the money, and LSU showing 52% of the tickets.
I mean, I lean Bama here. I do, but LSU has gotten egg on our face a few times. They haven't been respected as good as they should. They're playing great ball. They are long. They are athletic. They can go up and down. Hey, this would be a hell of a football game a few years ago, not this year. But again, like the Florida game, I would lean Florida. I lean Bama here. Shop around and get 3.5 if you had to scratch an itch. I'm not playing this. This is a grab a popcorn, grab yourself a pizza, and enjoy this game. Um, nothing. All right. Rotation number 691, 692, 7 p.m. ACC Virginia Tech at NC State. Opened at 2. Only at Circa is at 2.5. 71% of the bets, 50% of the money all coming in on Tech. Another team that is not last year's team, okay, guys, or the year before's. This team is struggling. But like last night, you keep an eye on an opener and basically a line freeze with 71% of the tickets, 50-50 split on the money. I would lean NC State here. I can tell you this is a public play for Tech. So I lean 692 NC State. If you can get 2.5, God bless you. Probably around $1.20 on the money line there. Nothing there. Bill, can you give me the numbers on 703, 704, Bradley and Drake?
Yeah. Very lightly bet game. Showing 79% of the money, 75% of the tickets on Drake, but only $8,000 bet. So, I mean, you go in and somebody puts $800 down, shit, that'll move the number.
What were the numbers again?
79% of the money, 75% of the tickets on Drake.
Okay, so this opened up at 7. It's still at 7. 6.5 at South Point, is that? Let me see which book. At Westgate. Our friends John Murray there dropped it to 6.5. So again, like last night in Missouri, rotation number 703, Bradley +7 would be a play here. You probably can get them in the high 280s on the money line. Keep an eye on Bradley +703 there. Another game, rotation number 705, 706, Indiana State at Southern Illinois. 60% of the bets, 79% of the money coming in on Southern Illinois. Opened at 4.5, still 4.5. Line freeze, more tickets, more money, yet the line hasn't moved. So I would definitely lean 705 Indiana State. You might be able to get them at +5. You could probably beer and pizza money at least probably 160, 165 there. There is a line freeze on Oklahoma State today. 78% of the bets, 60% of the money on TCU. It opened Oklahoma State -5, and it is still -5. So a lean to Okie State there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Line freeze on Kentucky. 68% of the bets, 73% of the money all coming in on A&M. Yet Kentucky opened at 7 and is still at 7. So they do not want to get off that number 7, even though more tickets, more money coming on A&M. So that would be a line freeze and a lean Kentucky, a game we're just watching. Same with Xavier. Xavier's funny today. Rotation number 717, 718. Xavier at DePaul. Opened at 7, still 7. 8 at Westgate, 8 at South Point. 57% of the bets, 57% of the money, all on Xavier. Yet the line hasn't moved in a lot of spots. So definitely we would lean DePaul there. Rotation number 718 with that. This Virginia team and Pitt, two teams. I'm going to tell you, Virginia is worse than watching paint dry. They are not the same team that they were a few years ago. Opened up at 3.5. It's 3.5 across the whole Vegas Strip, but it's circa right now 65% of the bets, 72% of the money coming in all on Virginia. Listen, it's a game that I would lean Pitt. It's a game that I am not touching. Another one of those, you bet on Virginia, they're nowhere to be found. You bet against them and they win by 20. So we're passing on that. And the other two we're out on. And take one quick look. 3 games in the NHL. La, 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 la. Arizona, believe it or not, the Coyotes are getting bet at New Jersey. Toronto, less bets, more money at the Rangers. Wouldn't lean the Toronto right there. They got us good though the other day. And Colorado, Anaheim, the under over. If you can get a 6 there, I wouldn't lean the over there, but that's about it there. Closing thoughts, Scott.
Well, Colton asked a question there. Number 13 team in the nation getting points, and one of the things I think that as you're going through and you're looking at stuff, and you can explain this to them a little bit too, Jeff, on what you look at. I don't look at rankings. I have my own. So I don't do college basketball because there's 300 and some damn schools. I got Ken Palm pulled up right now. There's 358 teams he's got ranked. Are you kidding me? I don't got time to do 358 teams the way I do my stuff.
Was he talking about LSU 13?
I think he's talking about the Alabama game. Yeah. So I think that I'm looking at it in a sense that the actual rankings are media hype. And one of the things that I put out in that 12 commandments is don't buy into the media hype, because that's selling points to watch TV. It has nothing to do with the gambling line. So I don't look at it that way. Now, some people might, and some people might have a selling point of their own to be able to say, hey, it's the 13th ranked team in the country and they're getting points. Okay. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't look at them in terms of ranking by that perspective. I would look at it more like, what is their ranking to the average team, or what is their ranking to a top 10 team? What is their percentage of increase or decrease, if that makes sense? So like when I do these NBA games, one of the things I do is the number one thing that affects the games is defense. And I know that people don't believe that, but it's true. In the NBA, if your team is better defensively than the average team on the NBA, it will affect the other team more than if your team's a better offensive team, because they can all score. It's a matter of who allows them to score. So, for example, a game here where Portland's playing Miami tonight. So Miami's defense is 108.6 defensive efficiency at home. That is 1% better than an average team. So as it turns out, that's going to impact 1% of what the Portland's going to do. So you got to put that in your number. But where it changes is when Portland's defense is 117.8 defensive efficiency, which is 7% worse than average. That means the other team's offense is 7% better. That's how you got to start looking at where rankings are. So rankings based off of to the average, or to an average of what the comparison is important. The ranking in terms of where they rank nationally is not as important, but only because if you're telling me that they're the 13th ranked team in the nation, okay, well, how much better are they than the 12th team? How much worse are they than the 14th team, or whatever? So that's kind of the idea that I just wanted to kind of cover real quick was I don't look at those ranking numbers, and I don't think you do either. So I think that, that's a great question, and it's a great statement that Colton makes, in a sense that I think the general public or the thought behind, okay, well, that's a good selling point. You can put that on a blurb somewhere and put it out, and you can run it, and then people will go, oh, let me pay attention. 13th ranked team in the country is getting the points tonight.
Well, the comical part of, let's say, college basketball or even college football. Let's use the LSU Alabama game, for instance. Let's say LSU is ranked 13th. Let's just say, for poops and giggles, Alabama is ranked 20th right now. I don't have their rankings in front of me.
Well, KenPom has LSU 10, Alabama 16.
Okay, perfect example here. LSU 10, Alabama 16. Okay, let's just say hypothetically Alabama wins by 10 today. You're going to get a novice commentator on one of your local radio stations that says, in college hoops today, Alabama upsets LSU 80-70 because they looked at a number 10 ranking versus a number 19 ranking or whatever the rankings are. And the bottom line is you'll get someone like myself or someone said they didn't upset them. They were 4-point favorites or 6-point favorites. Okay. So that's where, again, the rankings don't mean a lot. You'll get your UPI, your APs, and everyone has rankings. Okay. And they're great sellers. They're I call them water coolers. I call them the carrots right here, and they're great to sell tickets. They're great to get people to the window. Okay, so yeah, LSU's ranked 10th, Alabama's ranked 18th.
Well, I'll use rankings a lot in certain things. Like when I talk in football and I say one team has got a defensive EPA of XYZ versus the run, and that ranks whatever. But that's because it's in comparison to other defenses and the average defense. So it's got it's got something that it's hooked into. It's not just a generic thing, right? Because EPA is extremely important today, and I don't know how people can handicap games anymore without it, because it's taken over like the yards per play stuff. We don't do yards per play hardly anymore. I have a yards per play calculator, but I don't really. It's factored in somehow. But anyway, all that being said, the point of it is that I think rankings matter. I think that rankings matter in the context of what you're doing with them, I guess is the best way I can explain it.
No, your rankings are entirely different than ESPN's from the AP. Okay, they have substance. When we're talking college football, we always go to. There's only 128 college football teams, or 130, whatever the number is. Here you go to KenPom, and their rankings are based on 356 schools. So when they say you are 356 in free throw percentage, you are the worst free throw shooting team in the country.
Well, just so you know, Jeff, they say Delaware State's the worst team.
So they have substance. The AP, the ESPN, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Rothstein, all their AP, UP, IP, we all P rankings don't have any substance. They're just numbers. So again, Colton, my brother, I love you to death. And listen, that island does look good because I see the reverse line movement on Florida. I see the reverse line movement on Bama. I do. High profile games though, so be careful there. So for myself, again, just real quick, and thanks everyone. Listen, you got 2 seconds, go to YouTube, East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, it's free. Run over to Twitch. Subscribe, it's free. East Coast Sports Investors. The game that really sticks out, the couple games for me here again, is Bradley. Those numbers I don't have here at Wager Talk. Scott gave them to me. 77. He split that line, is frozen at 7. Take a look at Bradley +7, maybe a little plus 250, 260, whatever it is. Pizza and beer money there. Indiana State, again, another public play on Southern Illinois. 60% of the bets, 79% of the money there. There was one other one I thought that grabbed my eye here. I'll stay away from Xavier DePaul. Do lean DePaul. But the fact of the matter is, the two games that I talked about are the smaller schools. You try to stay away from the high profile games. Yes, I leaned Bama. Yes, I leaned Florida. I think that game gets over to 137.5 there. Um, and again, too, a line freeze on Georgia Tech. 63% of the bets, 59% of the money on Wake Forest. And you can get Tech at 2.5, home dog. Again, nothing crazy today, guys. We hit the home run yesterday. We'll hope to hit it tonight, but we're at hump day. We want to keep going. So, Scotty, wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that a couple of things. I like what I say. Charlotte plus the 3.5. I like the under in the Memphis Milwaukee game today, and I like the idea that we're one day closer to the playoffs. And so far, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not seen anything from any credible place that Jimmy G's not going to play. So I have seen the conversations around. Oh, in his exact words were, "I'm going to be sore, but I'm going to play," and then I put it out there yesterday, redzone.org. The one of the headlines in the paper today from I'm trying to pull it up so I know what paper it is. This is I don't even think this is from the paper. I think this is from some website somewhere. Anyway, Trey Lance tasked with imitating Aaron Rodgers at the 49ers scout team quarterback. Okay, so if Trey Lance is going to be the scout team quarterback for the 49ers this week, as of he's playing as Aaron Rodgers, there ain't no way in hell that Jimmy G's not going to play in this game.
No, exactly. They again, they're setting us up for the soft landing there. Fighting through this, fighting through that. Listen, Packers are well rested. They got a couple more guys back. Again, Packers by default till I get egg on my face. Obviously, I want it to be the Niners because we have August futures for NFC and Super Bowl. I'm going to get one of the two teams into the finals because we got Packers plus 375 as well. But again, I'm not buying for the old banana in the tailpipe here because we do know that the 49ers can run some more. They also can get Debo. Debo's got that Jerry Rice gear, and I'm not comparing him to Jerry Rice, but if you get this kid in open space, he has another gear, and it's been fun to watch that run.
So two other notes in the NFL I thought were interesting. One, Derek says Derrick Henry passes his test with contact in practice, so he's going to be a go. And the Steelers are considered a top trade destinations for quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they're changing everything up there. They're going to clean house. I get it. I guess I like the Jimmy G to the Steelers and draft and pick it. And by the way, apologies earlier in the week. I saw Pittsburgh drafting around 8 spot with getting Pickett. Obviously, you got to get up there to get Pickett. Pittsburgh's drafting 16, 18 or whatever, so they'd have to move up a boatload to get that. So apologies. I saw one of million mock drafts that had them drafting around 8. So, but I just think the Steelers are ready made with Tomlin. They got the offensive weapons. They got the 3 down back with Harris. They got a decent young defense where you don't want to rush a rookie in there. So a Cousins, a Jimmy G, someone of that ilk, I'm all in on that. I definitely can see it. And by the way, I need to tell you this from the locals, from some good sources, and I've given you a homework assignment. Tom Brady's last year this year.
I've seen that. I've heard that.
Bruce Arians, they're talking about how he has just gone postal the last few weeks. Him, excuse my French, bitch slapping the guy in the head. He's just lost total control because of the fact that he knows this is his last dance. rumblings haven't, again, that Tom and Bruce haven't seen eye to eye for a while. The fact that Tom's kind of kicked that into psycho Tom. Every play is a game. He's just going postal. The writing is on the wall. It came out today by a few sources, and I was listening to the locals, to some of the beat writers and stuff, that it's starting to leak and trickle down, that 45 was that number, just to keep everyone abreast, that win, lose, or draw, this is it. This is his swan song. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, I've heard that, and that's kind of been leaking, I think, from Gronk too. That he's sensing it, feeling it, talk to him, whatever. I think that's kind of the way it is. I mean, at some point in time, you got to go, right? And at some point in time, it's time to be done. And what more can he do for Tampa Bay? I mean, he's been here 2 years, and they made the playoffs both times. And if they win this game, they're in the NFC Championship for the second time. If they win that game, they got 2 Super Bowl runs. So, and to be honest, I think Bruce Arians is an idiot. So I would be glad to see him leave. And I do know that he allows his defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator, a lot of autonomy to do whatever the hell they want to do. And, he's supposed to be that quarterback whisperer guy. But I don't think he's done anything to help Tom Brady. I mean, other than turn him loose. I think the Patriot system, if anything, held him back just a little bit. But we talked about it on the show. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Holy shit. When they played the Rams the first time, he threw the ball 55 goddamn times. I don't think that's going to be the game plan to this week. I think they're going to run the ball a lot more. I haven't seen anything 100%, but I know they're going to get both those running backs back. They're going to have Jones. They're going to have Fournette. And then they're going to have the kid from the Bengals that is a third down back. They're going to be fine out of the backfield. The only player they're going to be missing is that wide receiver that they busted up his knee. So I haven't seen anything yet on the validity or value to what Tristan Wirfs is. I got to know the answer to that question, because he's the stalemate to the Rams defensive line. And if he's not going to be a good go, then that's a problem. So I'm excited for this weekend. I'm hoping these basketball games come in and we get to a point where, shit, if we win 2 more, I'll be 10-5 here. So I would be happy with that. And in the NBA, that's man, you can go 5-10 pretty easy.
I saw another like $50,000 ticket at South Point today. Bucks -2.5. Now I know Chris and Jimmy have taken some big tickets already, all on the Bucks. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. But a 2.5, I don't know. I was saying if it was leaking the 2.5. We talked about it on the show earlier this week. I'm still showing flat 3s, but everyone's about to leak. Westgate, Jazz, Caesars. I mean, I think 2.5 by the weekend, and maybe a kickoff decide which way it's going to go. So it's kind of funny though. Do you want to put your hard-earned money on Stafford or Brady? I kind of look at that. The Bills and KC. I mean, 2 great quarterbacks there. Tennessee. That's why I think the public's really flocked to Burrow. Yes, he's the number 1 quarterback right now, but game on the line. Do you want Tannehill or Burrow right now? And so that's what makes the game so great. And obviously, Rodgers versus Jimmy G. And so, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So an amazing show. Thank you to everyone following, watching. Colton, my man, thank you for all the hoopla. Mr. Pamu, thank you on Twitch. We will see you on the closing bell tomorrow, me and Scott. Tomorrow morning, Brady Tinker from Dallas will be blessing us with the breakfast bankroll. And then tomorrow afternoon from the Windy City, the one and only Mr. Colton James will be blessing us. And then Scotty will be here to wrap it up. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, Scotty Webb at Webby 20 MLB on Twitter. We wish you the best. Have a blessed day and evening. Always wager responsibly. And remember this, if you have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number right there. Ask for help. Why? Because we care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. Cash some tickets. Enjoy the games, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning with the Breakfast Bankroll.